The Boston Celtics are one of the few teams in the NBA that's consistently a title contender year after year, but winning the championship has continued to elude them. The Celtics made the finals in 2022 and damn near got back to the finals this year, but a Jason Tatum ankle injury in the first possession of Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals pretty much sealed their fate. After failing to return to the finals, Celtics GM Brad Stevens decided that a major roster shakeup was needed for Boston to finally get over the hump. At the start of the offseason, Stevens traded the fan favorite Marcus Smart in exchange for the Unicorn. Many Celtics fans disliked the move because Marcus Smart, without a doubt, was the heart and soul of the team. But acquiring Porziņģis in exchange for Marcus Smart allowed the Celtics to acquire an all-star caliber player. No, he's not the franchise player the Knicks thought he would become when they took him number 4 overall, but he's coming off a great season in Washington where he averaged 23 points per game. With the Celtics acquiring Porziņģis, they should now be considered the favorite to come out of the East, and they have a damn good chance to go all the way and raise banner number 18. Before I discuss how Porziņģis improves the Celtics, I want to talk about Marcus Smart. It's understandable why some Celtics fans weren't happy about the front office moving on from him. He's been a critical role player in multiple deep playoff runs, made 3 all-defensive teams, and was Defensive Player of the Year back in 2022. But as good as Marcus Smart has been for the Celtics, Porziņģis is a major talent upgrade. Marcus Smart is excellent defensively, but he's always been an inefficient player on offense. His 41% shooting from the field and 33% shooting from deep were all well below league average last season. His offense also tends to be very streaky. This isn't to say that Smart is a bad player, far from it, but taking his inefficient shooting out of the Celtics offense and replacing it with Porziņģis will prove to be a huge positive for Boston. Porziņģis, on the other hand, is an excellent shooter, knocking down 38% of his three-pointers last season. At 7'3" with a high release point, there's few defenders in the league that can bother his shot. Even when defenders do get a hand up, it's as if they're not even there. And when defenders close out hard on KP's 3-ball, he can take guys off the dribble for a strong finish at the rim. Watch on this play how KP catches the rock, gets bogged down in the air with the pump fake, then uses the Euro step and gets the and one on Clint Capella. Only a handful of big men in the league can pull this move off. Porziņģis can not only space the floor from deep, but he can also stand at the dunker spot and catch lob passes and throw it down. He also gets a lot of dunks and layups off cutting to the basket. KP's ability to thrive off the ball should allow him to fit alongside Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown extremely well. His off-ball scoring will open up driving lanes and allow Boston to punish teams that send help defense. KP should do a ton of damage off the ball for the Celtics, but he's also a deadly go-to option. Posting up was a weakness for KP in Dallas, but he became one of the best post-up players in the league with Washington. He can use his size to exploit mismatches in the post and score close to the rim, and his size allows him to shoot over defenders easily. Porziņģis ranked 5th in the NBA in post-up points per game last year and shot a very efficient 58% on his post-ups. But it's worth mentioning that most of these post-up opportunities were against smaller players rather than big men his own size. When going up against players closer to his size, KP is much more likely to face up where he's deadly in the mid-range. Porziņģis was one of the best mid-range scorers in the league last year, shooting 48% from 10 to 14 feet. And if the defender gets too close to take away his jumper, KP can take him off the dribble for a strong finish at the rim. Another aspect of his game that doesn't get talked about enough is his passing. He's adept at finding cutters when he gets the ball in the post. The Celtics didn't do much cutting last year, ranking just 26 in points per game off cuts, so KP can add a new dimension to the Celtics offense. Players like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can feed KP the entry pass, then cut hard to the basket to get themselves a dunk or a layup. KP should also improve the Celtics pick and roll game. KP is a deadly scorer out of pick and roll action. He can set a solid screen, pop out to the 3-point line, and drain the open 3. And if teams defend this by switching to take away the open 3, then the Celtics could have KP go down low on the block, catch the entry pass, and dominate the smaller player in the post. Overall, the added dimension of increased shooting and shot creation that Porziņģis will bring should make the Celtics offense, which was already number 2 in offensive rating last year, even more dangerous. Now let's talk about the Unicorns' defense. Throughout his career, Porziņģis has consistently been one of the best help defenders and rim protectors in the NBA. His size and length allow him to block the shots of driving players effortlessly. And he doesn't always have to get the block because he could just go straight up, contest shots, and force drivers to miss. He's an incredibly tough player to finish over. With KP in the lineup, the Celtics may alter how they defend as a team. The Celtics were one of the most switch-heavy defensive teams last year, and KP doesn't have great lateral speed on the perimeter, so he's more of a drop coverage player. But KP is a great drop defender in pick and rolls where he can drop back and not only block the shot of a driving player, but also prevent the roll man from scoring. Overall, KP is a tremendous two-way addition to the Celtics, and the presence of Derek White should help Boston to offset the loss of Marcus Smart at the guard position. Last season, Derek White emerged as the Celtics' best defender on the perimeter, often getting the job of defending the other team's best player, whether it was a star guard or a star wing. White's excellent lateral speed allows him to stay in front of his man and contest or even block the shot of opposing players. White blocked 76 shots last season, which led all guards in the NBA. He's also got great awareness off the ball, allowing him to rack up steals. White's hard work on the defensive end earned him all defensive second team honors at the end of the season. And while playing excellent defense, White was also a huge source of offense for the Celtics. He was one of their better three-point shooters, knocking down 38% of his threes last season. He could also break down his man off the dribble and get in the paint and finish really well. White was a big part of the Celtics making 2 deep playoff runs the past couple of years, and he's going to continue to be really valuable for the Celtics as they look to make another championship run. Another reason Brad Stevens was comfortable moving on from Marcus Smart is the presence of Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon was the top off-the-bench scorer in the NBA last season, averaging 15 points per game, which earned him the 6th Man of the Year award. Brogdon gives the Celtics another excellent shot creator that can score from all 3 levels on the court. He's not only a nice spark plug off the bench, but his presence on the team helps the Celtics to win games even when the Jays are struggling to shoot the ball. Speaking of the Jays, let's transition to discussing Jason Tatum because he's grown into one of the NBA's true superstars. Tatum is coming off his best season. Last year, he not only put up a career-high 30 points per game, but he became the first player in Celtics history to average that many points in a season. Not only is Tatum an ultra-dominant scorer, but he's turned himself into an excellent playmaker. In previous seasons, Tatum was unwilling to make the extra pass, often taking tough shots over multiple defenders, but he's learned to use the extra defensive attention to set up his teammates for easy baskets. And while becoming a complete player on offense, Tatum has remained one of the NBA's top defenders. At this point, he's knocking on the door of top 5 status in the NBA. Tatum has achieved greatness, but the Celtics are going to need more from Jaylen Brown. Brown recently became the highest paid player in history, signing a 5-year, $304 million deal. He drew a lot of criticism because of his underwhelming play in the conference finals. In order to justify his contract, Jaylen Brown must continue to improve his game. He's one of the best players in the league coming off a season where he averaged 27 points per game, but his weaknesses were exposed against the Miami Heat. After Tatum got hurt in Game 7, Brown immediately became the focal point of the Celtics offense. In the most important game of the season, Jaylen Brown shrunk. He scored 19 points in Game 7, but shot just 8 of 23 from the field. And not only did he shoot the ball poorly, but he had an astounding 8 turnovers. The Miami Heat forced Jaylen Brown to dribble to his left, leading to him coughing the ball up way too many times. Jaylen Brown's left hand has been a weakness in his game his entire basketball career. In order to become a better player, he must turn this weakness in his game into a strength. Summing everything up, the Boston Celtics have put themselves in an incredible position going into next season. The increased scoring and shooting from the Unicorn will make the Celtics an even more dangerous team. The high-level guard play from Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White will offset the loss of Marcus Smart, and the Jays are one of the best star duos the league has to offer. If enough things go right, 2024 may finally be the year that the Celtics raise banner number 18. But what do you think of the Boston Celtics? Can they win the title next season? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more high quality content just like it, please drop a like on the video and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next video.